welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, January 27, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. With the commencement of operation of the Argyle International Airport set for February 14th, taxi drivers in this country say they are anticipating the opening of the air facility. President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Taxi Drivers Association, Winston Pops Morgan, told SVG-TV News that drivers foresee an increase in visitors to the country as direct international flights become more accessible.
An influx now of people. You would have people coming into our island who would have not normally come because, let's just say for instance, someone who had a 7-day vacation. They come to St. Vincent. Coming here was quite a hassle. And you come, you reach to Barbados, right? You have to wait hours before you get over here. Sometimes you lose a day, right? You lose your luggage. So sometimes by the time you get here, you get essentially 3 or 4 days here. But you lose 3 days, and now that you have an international airport, you might have direct flights. That would sort of alleviate that problem. So we as taxi drivers should see increase in jobs and so on, and not only for taxi drivers, so the people in the agricultural sector and so on, you know, where you could get out your produce. People who have fragile goods selling that can stay, that don't have a long shelf life. You know, you can get them out fast, in and out fast. Right? And you know, transportation is about the biggest industry in the world, and the ease of transportation is the key. And here comes the Argyle International Airport.
Morgan said they are, however, concerned about the poor road conditions, which can damage their vehicles and complicate their operations as taxi drivers.
The road network is not perfect, the road network itself. Right? And I think, like, when you pass, the planning, the job was not well done in that. To develop roads now, it's going to be a very expensive, tedious task. And then you have our volcanic nature, where we're very mountainous, hard rocks and so on. So to blow down mountains to build roads, like see the amount of mountains we blow down to do the international airport. So roads is an issue. I mean, prices of other goods and supplies, where it entails our operation, like cost of parts. I mean, if you have bad roads, but you'll have to buy parts frequently. And sometimes genuine parts are more costly than the aftermarket parts. But then you change the aftermarket parts more regularly, so the expense still comes in our face, whether now or in the long term.
The president of the Taxi Drivers Association said they have written a letter to Cabinet to plead for duty-free concessions on certain items to help ease the burden of costs.
To Cabinet, we're waiting for a response right now as to some sort of dialogue, developing some plan that would allow taxi drivers, who most of us have 7-seater, some people say 8 includes the driver, have these little vans in Noahs, the Toyota Radius, the Alphas and so on. And if we have an international airport, we expect a certain caliber of people coming in. So you might expect like bigger shows, you have celebrities coming in, they're accustomed to a certain level of vehicles. And if we get this duty-free concession, it would help some of us to upgrade our vehicles. And I don't know what would be the stipulations in terms of what year vehicles we can bring in, because taxi men are not rich men generally.
Meantime, several taxi drivers took the opportunity to share their views about the commencement of operation of the Argyle International Airport.
Very good thing for the taxi. Coming on the stream, the taxi will operate better, it could go a little further out and get more people coming in. All you need is some hotels now, some 5-star hotels to keep the people when they come in. It's very good.
So you're excited about the coming of the airport?
Well, yeah, I like to say, let come on stream.
Well, I feel proud about it because when I look at the airport, the benefit for everybody here. And we taxi men will get a little bit more money for transporting people to the airport. So I look at it, it's very good for everybody.
The benefit for tax, we taxing all for the whole country of whole. But I don't know about the price thing, because I mean the Leeward side and the Grenadine side, the price thing was a little ticklish for them. So I don't know if it will be a fixed price or something. So, but it's a good program.
The government should not be competing for services in which the private sector is involved. That's the view of leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, speaking on radio today. Making mention of a newspaper article which suggests that the government is interested in owning hotels, Dr. Friday questioned the feasibility of such a move.
What we need to do really is to liberate people so that they can actually fend for themselves, and the government has to get out of the way, stop competing with the private sector and things that the private sector can do. I was just looking in the paper here this morning and I saw that the government is talking about getting into owning hotels and
yes.
vying for the Buckerman Bay Resort and so on. We can't even find money to fix the potholes in Kingstown and around the country and to pay for medicine in the hospital, and we are talking about going into owning a resort that hasn't proven itself yet, and the government, where are they going to get the money from to do this? And why is it a priority for government to be getting into private sector activity where there are other investors who would be willing to do so?
Referring to a recent incident where yachts were burglarized in the Wali Labo area, Dr. Friday said this seemed to be a recurrent issue and calls for a proactive approach, which includes regular patrols by the Coast Guard Service to ensure the safety of visitors here.
And the response of the authorities is critical. When an incident happens, sometimes bad things happen, and you have to just simply respond in as positive a way as possible to try and rectify the situation. But when bad things happen because you don't take proactive measures and you know what you can do to make things better, you know, you have Coast Guard, you have the stories that you've heard in many stories, you know, the importance of the tourism sector of yachting. Make sure that we have something there that will be able to provide some security on the water, that there's a patrol, that people know that if they burglarize a boat, there's a good chance that they will get caught. And if you do that, then the incidents will definitely go down. It happened in Beckway. Once they put a boat and start patrolling on the water, a lot of the burglaries that used to happen around November, December, they were reduced, and it took them 7 years to do that, from me calling every single season that they should be done. In the meantime, we suffered a lot over the period of time, and we have to try and recover now.
And opposition MP for Central Kingstown, St. Clair Leacock, wants to see more job opportunities created for Vincentians, more so at the managerial or supervisory level. Leacock was on radio responding to comments made by Foreign Affairs Minister Sir Louis Straker on the number of jobs that are expected to be derived from the Mount Twin Petersburg project by Canadian-based developers Pace Development. The opposition MP said it is unfortunate that the government can only think of menial positions instead of managerial posts for a well-qualified Vincentian society.
And I'm sure that Sir Louis, for example, on reflection realized that it wasn't well put over when he said that, look, we are going to bring here $160 million worth of investment. But he simply reduced Vincentians only to the level of maids and bartender service. He not for one moment said that many of us will become supervisors, managers, chefs, and at the high end of the investment. The other part of what is wrong with our Vincentian society, we have to find a mechanism to improve the level of productivity, getting more done with less. And those things are affecting the way the country is going forward. Much more to go on to the other competitive issues that we don't have time to talk.
After being arrested in July 2016 at the E.T. Joshua Airport as he sought to leave the state to return to his place of residence in the United States, Vincentian New York-based Calypsonian Paul Imad Scrub is now a free man. Magistrate Rayshon Brown withdrew the charges at the Serious Offences Court on Thursday after senior prosecutor Adolphus Delpesh told the court the prosecution will not be proceeding with its case against Scrub because of lack of evidence. Scrub was slapped with charges with threats to kill the Prime Minister and his family, as well as making seditious utterings on social media. Scrub maintained his innocence from the time of his arrest, and the prosecution made an application for 3 months between his appearance in court and the trial, stating that they needed more time to investigate and prepare their files. Scrub's attorney, Israel Bruce, said he found the charges brought against his client strange and believed it was politically motivated, noting that the charges did not pass the full court or evidential tests.
I found it was rather strange an approach to dealing with matters that are criminal. Nonetheless, that 3-month period was granted. When we reappeared in court late last year, 2016, the Crown still was not ready to proceed with the matter, and I had asked the magistrate to dismissed the matter for want of prosecution. The magistrate was not inclined to take or to go with my recommendation and suggestion, and so there was an adjournment granted to the Crown. And the matter was adjourned to this morning. And we went to court this morning, and the matter having been called, the prosecution indicated correctly, in my mind, that they would not proceed with the matter. And that brings the matter to an end.
Bruce further stated that he was displeased that Scrub not only suffered humiliation, but also loss of income, as he was unable to return to the United States, where he resides, until the case was finished. He, however, commended the court on its decision to dismiss the charges.
And so that was our concern. I think the prosecution, which also is an arm of the Crown, finally came to a correct position when it decided that it would not proceed in the matter any further. And I congratulate them for having taken that position, albeit very late, because Mr. Scrub, as we know, has suffered. Job-wise, he has suffered. From a public humiliation standpoint, he has suffered. Remember, he was about boarding the aircraft when he was taken off. So that in and of itself represents what has happened to him as a consequence of being charged. It appears that humiliation, embarrassment, silencing, putting under whatever manners, those were apparently the reasons which drove the charges that were levied against our client, Mr. Scrub.
A pledge has been made by the private sector of Prince Edward Island, PEI, in Canada, to assist with the development and advancement of SVG's agriculture sector. That's according to Minister of Agriculture, Saboto Caesar, speaking at a press conference earlier today, as he gave an overview of plans to be carried out under a relationship with the PEI, which was made possible through his recent two-day visit to the province. Minister Caesar thanked the island's private sector for seeing it fit to invest in the agricultural development of SVG. Assuring persons that it will not be a one-sided relationship, Caesar added that over the next few months, it is expected that there will be a rich exchange of cultural and private sector investments between both islands.
And it is part of a wider enhancement of a relationship for us to increase trade with Canada. We are on the cusp of the opening of the Argyle International Airport, and we are looking at Canada as a non-traditional market that we can access by air. And there are many commodities that we're working already with the private sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to trade with the private sector in Canada, starting firstly with Toronto, Canada. And very soon I would hope that we can have goods go from St. Vincent and the Grenadines to Toronto and flown over to Prince Edward Island so that your people can benefit.
Pointing out the ministry's quest to develop cattle production with the assistance of the governments of Cuba and Jamaica through artificial insemination, Minister Caesar outlined plans to explore the possibility of embryo transplants from the PEI. With the training, the minister made reference to a memorandum of understanding which was signed between the SVG Community College and the Holland College in PEI, which will see students here being trained in using various technologies to enhance agriculture.
PEI is renowned for excellent pedigree of cattle, particularly in Holstein production, and we engaged the private sector there to firstly assist us with technology transfer as it pertains to embryo transplants in cattle. I had the opportunity to meet with a large company by the name of Atlantic Beef, and the opportunity was open to us to send a cadre of young persons from St. Vincent and the Grenadines to receive training in an excellent facility, abattoir facility, that is housed on the island. We expect in the not too distant future for us to operationalize this process and this system so that young persons on the island can have the opportunity to go to Holland College and participate in this excellent technology transfer in agriculture.
Meantime, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries of Prince Edward Island, Alan Mosaic, expressed gratitude to Minister Caesar for inviting him to visit SVG, noting that he looks forward to the commencement of work through the excellent relationship which will grow the economies of both islands.
As a dairy farmer before I was in politics, I'm really excited about the possibilities within the dairy industry. I know the minister got to visit one of our farms on the island and look at some of the Holstein cattle we have there. Very high production and high pedigreed animals, and we'd love to have some of that pedigree and genetics come down here by way of embryo and expand the industry here and grow it here. And also with the beef, also the opportunity of some of the young people here coming back to our province and experiencing how we deal with our dairy cattle or how we work in our beef plant. And I'm really excited. In a couple of weeks, two of our dairy farmers, one of the farmers that Minister Caesar visited when he was on the island, are coming down here themselves and talk a little bit more about trade, because trade is what makes your economy grow and our economy grow, and we're really excited about the future.
Cognizant of the fact that the development of information communication technology, ICT, and broadband connection can go a long way in achieving economic growth and development here in SVG, the Ministry of Information, in collaboration with the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, have begun efforts to ensure the successful implementation of a national broadband plan. The first draft of the plan was developed through the World Bank-funded CARSIP project and the NTRC. The plan seeks to present policies and guidelines to further advance the delivery of high-speed, secure, and affordable broadband services in SVG at a consistent quality. Pointing out that while there is evidence of more persons using the Internet, especially through the use of mobile data services, Universal Service Fund USF Administrator at the NTRC, Karen Duncan, in an interview with SVG-TV, outlined that there needs to be an increase in the use of broadband services in households across SVG. Duncan added that through the National Broadband Plan, it is expected that this increased use will come into being by providing Vincentians with even more affordable and reliable broadband services.
Yes, he saw the need to basically make internet access affordable and reachable to the general public. We have done so, or we have done as much as we could have via the use of the Universal Service Fund, where we placed internet access in all of the schools, all of the learning resource centers, all of the community centers. We provided internet for $10 at a subsidized price for 340 households, but there needs to be a bit more with regards to policy. You understand? So we saw the need to start the process in developing the plan, and Mr. Franklin would now come in and assist us in finalizing the plan and taking it forward for adoption of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Highlighting that it is not intended for the plan to be developed and finalized only with the input of the NTRC, Duncan said there will be several consultations taking place across St. Vincent and the Grenadines to obtain feedback from the general public.
Well, the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission is inviting the general public out to these 5 public consultations. The first one will be in Layu at the Learning Resource Center on the 31st of January. The second would be at the Georgetown Secondary School on the 2nd of February. The third would be at the Canawan Primary School on February 7th. Beckwith Community High on February 9th, and the final one will be held in Kingstown at the Methodist Church Hall on February 16th, 2017. Now, all of these consultations in the rural communities will be starting at 6 p.m. and the one in Kingstown will go from 9:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. We need the feedback of the general public. People always saying that their services are this or their services is that. So what they need to do is come out, tell us what you would like to see included to protect you or to give you the ability to get more access.
The Customs and Excise Department says it is looking forward to the operation of the soon-to-be-opened Argyle International Airport, as well as working to improve the department's relationship with the general public this year. That's according to the Controller of the Customs and Excise Department, Owena Fields, as she spoke with SVG-TV News on Thursday on their activities for International Customs Day, as well as the department's plans for 2017. Fields noted that 2016 was a successful year as they were able to meet their revenue collection target, and they are looking forward to the transitional process for the Argyle International Airport.
In terms of 2017, right now in this first quarter, our focus is on transitioning to the Argyle International Airport, because as everyone is aware, the international airport will be opened on the 14th of February, and customs has a major role to play in terms of processing of passengers as well as cargo. And so we are in the process of making all the preparations and arrangements in terms of equipping offices, running lines to facilitate our automated system, ASICUDA, and just ensuring that everything is in place so that we can function efficiently and effectively when we get to the airport. So that is our focus right now.
Fields also called on the public, particularly traders, to comply with the department's regulations, noting that this will go a long way in forging a better relationship with the department.
Expect a higher compliance rate from them. So we're asking persons to comply with the customs laws and regulations, and I can assure you if persons comply that we will have a better relationship with the public. As we say, the website is there. It can be used for information. All our laws are on the website, so persons can go there. There are some procedures that there we are working to update. Information bulletins, when we put out notices and so on, any new fiscal measures, and we give the information out to the public via the website. So we are urging persons to use the website more, and we will endeavor to provide a better service to the public for 2017.
The Customs Controller added that the department has been implementing measures to make their services more effective and efficient.
For this year, we hope to listen to the public more, okay? So during the exhibition, what we have currently there, we are asking members of the public to fill out a small brochure in terms of their gain some feedback on customs, what they think about us, what we can do better, you know, what we do well, what we can improve on, and so on. And so we intend to use that information so that we can examine ourselves critically and improve our performance for 2017. It's always our intention to serve the members of our customers, the traders, in an efficient manner. And so we want to hear from the public.
The new Police Cooperative Credit Union Corporate Headquarters building located on Bay Street, Kingstown, will officially open tomorrow. The opening ceremony will commence at 4 p.m. and will hear remarks from several persons in the credit union sector. The keynote address is expected to be delivered by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Raf Gonsalves.